So I get asked a lot, how do I find staff? And it's a really interesting one, and I think it is one of the most difficult things for startups. I mean, we have been through so many different iterations and have learnt so much. The reasons it's difficult are often we don't know what we don't know. So if you go from, me having 3 staff to 23 staff in the last 2 years, I mean, literally we were kind of throwing people into, you might be an editorial and then suddenly you're doing some design, or you're selling ads, or you're, greeting people at the door. And so it's very important that you can find people culturally who are happy to change and adapt. And that culture is quite strange and alien for some people, particularly if they've come from corporate, where it's like, this is your JD, this is what you do every day. That's not what happens with a startup. But the flip side of that, I think it's one of the most exciting places that someone can work, because it means that if you take the magazine industry, some of the people that I've met with will say, it took them 6 years to work up into the position of a coordinator or an assistant role. Whereas here, my art director is a good example, Jade. She started with me before we'd even launched the magazine. She was 20, I think, when she started with me. She started with me as a writer, and we were producing content and things, and then she started playing around with some design, and she was really good at it. And so when we launched the collective, I said to her, do you want to be art director? So at age 23, she was art director of a major magazine that's now in 37 countries. So people have the ability to move up very, very quickly. One thing that we do differently is, I know we can't compete in terms of salary. So people have to buy into the vision and the passion, and they have to be able to see the long-term opportunities. And something that's been quite difficult for us is we'll hire people often on, $32,000, $35,000, $40,000, like the lowest that we can possibly pay them, because that's what we've had to do. And then they might be with us for a year or 18 months, and what started to happen is, because our brand is bigger than our bottom line, other companies have swooped in and started offering them 70 or 80 grand because they want our intellectual property. And so continuously, to compete with that, I have to keep having, very robust, excited vision meetings with my team to kind of remind them, because it's hard when you're young to go, wow, I'm on 35 grand, I can get 70. Well, is that going to be a really boring job? And here you've got an extraordinary opportunity. Another thing that we do is I do something called a lifeline. So I'm not really interested in people's CVs, and more often than not, I'm really not interested if they've worked for another print magazine. So what I'll do is I'll ask them to, after a first interview, I'll ask them to go away and do a lifeline. So I want to know as much detail as they want to give me, as raw as they want to get. What are the significant events that have occurred in their life that have made them the person they are today? So they might say, when I was 7, I won my netball game and my mum was standing on the sideline and it made me feel like this. Or when I was 25, I traveled to Greece and I learnt blah, blah, blah. Or when I was 30, I had a divorce and it was hideous, but hey, look at me now. And so that way I can go, this person is actually prepared to get quite authentic and real and vulnerable, and they're probably going to fit in. So we use lots and lots of different, tricks and tools and things to get the right team. So what does my lifeline look like? Well, it's very checkered. It looks something like, had no idea who I was kind of, jumping from career to career, started as a horse riding instructor, was, the result of a broken marriage when I was 3, drank way too much through my 20s, gave up drinking when I turned 30, haven't drunk for 10 and a half years, started doing some stuff wrote a book on happiness because I was so unhappy. Then that, did really well, so sold 36,000 copies of that, started a publishing company, produced over 400 books for other people. My lifeline is so all over the place. It's essentially really messed up kind of person, no idea who they were, no idea what they were doing with life, lots and lots of therapy all over the world, and then kind of fighting my way as we go. I think people say to me, what's the key to success? And I kind of go, well, what is success anyway? Some people may say I'm successful. I go, if my life was a book, I'd be on chapter 1, page 1, paragraph 1. I have so much further to go. And the truth about success is there's no quick fix or pill or elixir that's magically going to give you success. I think it's, a school of hard knocks, and it's, going through all sorts of things and coming up against all sorts of things that you need to explore for yourself. And my story is my story. It's unique to me, and I can only tell that that how it is. And you know, it's just learning from as many other amazing entrepreneurs and then kind of sucking it and seeing it and failing fast as possible.